guys, Lori here. I'm here to do a couple of contemporary reviews that I read in the month of July. Some of these are to do with the Summer Flings book tag that I was involved in. I will talk a little bit more about that in my wrap-up, which is going to come up soon. But these are just some of the contemporary books that I read that are on their own. The first book I'm going to talk about is a book that I picked up at the used bookstore and read it immediately after I got it, which is Better Off Friends by Elizabeth Eulberg. This was probably the quickest book I've read this month. I read it in like 2 days, but I really enjoyed it. I was really impressed with it. Basically follows these two good, I'm going to call her Mac because her name is a little bit hard to pronounce, Mac and Levi. And the book starts off with like them having a conversation with each other. It says, guys and girls can be friends, right? Way to get to the point, Levi. So they have a conversation, and after every chapter, as they're telling you their story, they're having this conversation. And it's really cool, like, narrative. I really, enjoyed it, and I thought that it was so well done. And it takes place over, 4 years. So throughout their whole entire high school experience, this book occurs, and I really enjoyed it. I loved both main characters, and you did get both perspectives, which I really enjoyed. And Mac definitely, at the start of the book, was struggling a lot, and Levi basically became her best friend, and maybe more in the future. But I really liked the story that was told in the past, but also the present story that we got, because I thought that was so well done. And I was really impressed with both characters. I think I grew to realize I really enjoy dual perspective novels because I tend to be more interested in the male side of things, but this one really impressed me, and I thought that Levi and Mac reminded me a lot of a relationship that I had with my best friend in my life. So there was just some things that happened that just was eerily similar to my own life, and I was like, oh my god, I can so relate to that. So I think I definitely related to this book a lot because I felt like I had a relationship in my own life that kind of mirrored it, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought that the way that they did that was so fun, and I thought that, the instances and the implications and the issues that Mac and Levi had was something that does happen when your best friend is a guy, which I have before I went to college, all my best friends were guys, so I think I had a lot of experience with this, and I really loved the upsides of their relationships, the downsides of their relationships, and the differences that happen, and I really enjoyed it. I thought that since the book takes place over 4 years, it was a lot of character growth for both characters, and I really enjoyed that. Most times when you get summer contemporaries, they're set in one summer, but this you got school years and summers, and I just loved it. And I think Elizabeth Eulberg did a really cool way of progressing time, because in one chapter you would be in September of a school year, and then the next chapter you would be in December. So I thought that her pacing for the book was really good, and it kept me so engaged. But definitely the present stuff with them having the conversation really kept me to want to read it. I was really impressed by this. This book will definitely become a keep book, or I'm going to get it on my Kindle because it was just so sweet, and I would love to read it again, or maybe even get the audiobook if it exists. But yeah, I highly recommend this. I gave this book 4 stars, so if you're checking out a really cute contemporary, I would check this out. The next book I'm going to talk about is Words in Deep Blue. I will say this, if you are a book lover and love reading and love bookstores, I highly recommend this book. I thought it was so well done. I gave it 4 stars. It follows these two characters named Rachel and Henry. Rachel unexpectedly moves back to town after the unexpected death of her brother, her twin brother. Or no, not her twin brother. I think that it's just her brother. And she winds up reconnecting with the old flame, Henry, and before Rachel left, she left Henry a letter that discussed her feelings for Henry, but Henry never got the letter, and it starts this really unique, dynamics of their relationship, and at the heart of this story is this adorable bookstore. And I just fell in love with the bookstore, and I loved it so much, but I also really liked Henry and Rachel's relationship. I love that you got both point of views, and I just liked it, and I thought that the relationship that Henry had with his old girlfriend really was like something that like I think a lot of people can relate to, because the relationship was not necessarily healthy. I would say that, but I think that sometimes you get stuck in a relationship like that. And I just loved how Rachel and Henry's, I love old rekindling of relationships, and I just really thought the book was well done. But I thought that if the focus on being a book lover and the library and the focus on that really kept me engaged, and I just loved it. Rachel was also dealing with a lot in this novel, including processing her grief and being able to trust people. And you also did get like past moments of them that like you saw through Rachel's eyes. And there was also many letters that were written in this book, and there was one storyline that I didn't even put together until like the very end of the novel, that I was like, oh my god, how did I not see that? But it was like, it really focused on grief, and I thought that the way that all these characters were dealing with grief, like losing your brother, losing the guy you might like, losing your job, was really, really important. And I thought that Rachel and Henry were both dealing with so much complications, and they almost became their safe place in the storm, and I really enjoyed that, and I thought that it was really, really well done. But as a book lover, I want to visit that bookstore because I think that it just sounded so amazing and so awesome. I definitely gave this book like 4 stars. I thought it was really well done. It did follow like a typical contemporary path, and I will admit it was not all happiness and sunshines. But it was one of those books that really, like, got me in the emotions, especially when some truths were revealed towards the end of the novel. But I thought it was, like, really well done, and if you're a book lover, I really think that you will like Henry and Rachel's story, and it was just super cute. I also have a book review on my blog where I talk a little bit more about it. But overall, I was just really impressed by it, and highly recommend Words in Deep Blue by Kath Crowley. And one day I hope to find someone that creates a bookstore like that, because it just sounded so awesome. And the next books I'm going to talk about is The Perfectly Imperfect Match by let me see what her name is. Kendra C. Hingley. I also got this book for a review from Entangled Teen, and I did do a review about it earlier in the month. I really enjoyed this book. Gave this book 5 stars. I was so impressed with this book, and it made me cry. And I am a big fan, I think I mentioned this, I'm a big fan of the Katie McGarry series, Pushing the Limits, and my 2 favorite novels are Dare You To and Chasing the Impossible. And this book had such strong vibes of that I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. So I really need to check out her other books. This is the 2nd or 3rd book in the Sutton Sentinel series, and I haven't read the other 2, but I know one of the relationships that's earlier, so maybe I'll get to read the other ones at a later time. But this book was so good, and I think I loved it because it followed Dylan, a pitcher who is very precise and very organized and very determined to get what he wants. And then you follow Lucy, who's a little bit of a free spirit, a little bit chaotic. And Dylan winds up being Lucy's brother's baseball coach, and they wind up having some unique interactions. And Lucy and him decide to basically have a friendship, but it turns into a little bit more when they start developing feelings for each other, and it gets even more complicated when Dylan's path to the majors in baseball becomes complicated, and Lucy's brother is not a fan of them dating because their father is over in Iraq and he lacks a male role model, and Lucy's mother has some health issues. So it's just a really, like, well done story. I loved both perspectives. I thought they were so well done and so complicated and so realistic. I was engaged from page 1, and I just loved how these characters really should not have worked, but they were like the perfect person that was not perfect for them, and I thought that, like, it was just really well done. I thought that it was a heightened emotional book, and I really like that, and I thought that it just blew me away how much I love these characters, and I was really impressed by it. And I think that what the author did really well is basically make these 2 characters be basically just make the characters' relationships so well, but also everything in their lives I thought was really well done. I love the stuff with Dylan and his baseball path, because I think that a lot of kids sometimes think that the only path that they have is to go into the majors, and I love that Dylan had to grapple with that, and I thought that that was really, really well done. And I loved how Lucy had to deal with her mother and then her best friend, and I just liked all the differences. So I would love to read more books in this series and see like what other characters are given a focus, because I really love this book, and it was really, really well done, and I highly recommend that you check it out. Or you could check out my review on my blog, which is a couple, I think I did it at the beginning of July, so you'll have to scroll down a little bit. But it was definitely a good read, and I definitely gave it 5 stars. And the last book that one of the last books I'm going to talk about in this review is Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett. I did enjoy this book. I gave this book like 3.5 stars, and I think that this is the book that kind of made me realize that I really like dual perspective contemporary novels, because I felt like I would have liked this book a lot better if I also got Porter's side of it, because you got Minx's side of the story, or Alex, but you didn't get the other one, so it was only told through one person's perspectives, and I just wanted a little bit more. And I also wanted a little bit more of online interaction between Alex and Minx, and that didn't happen for a large part of the novel. So those two things made me not enjoy this book as much, but it's basically a You Got Mail retelling, following these two characters, and unexpectedly, the lead girl winds up moving to the town that her online friend is from, but she doesn't tell him that she's moving there because she's afraid of what's going to happen. She's afraid that maybe they won't clash, maybe something will happen. So she's basically trying to find him in this town and doesn't have much success. And in that time, she winds up hitting it off with somebody who she works with named Porter, who ironically is the person, Alex, that she's been communicating with, but they don't know that through like the entire novel. And it's really interesting to see them falling for head over heels for each other, but then not realizing that they have all this background information that they don't know. And I thought that it was really well done. And also the girl has had some trauma in her life, so I think that that's what makes her so hesitant. But the focus on like films was really cool, and I loved how each chapter started with a famous quote, like a famous movie quote that would tie back to the novel. And there were some quotes that I was like, oh my god, that is such a cool quote. And I just really like that. You could tell that Jen Bennett does know a lot about film, and I really enjoyed it. And I overall loved the relationship between the two leads. I thought that again there was some elements where the girl was just basically leaving her entire life behind for a boy, but I liked it in this story because there was consequences when she did that. And sometimes when you get books like this, there is no consequences for the main character and their lives go on fine. But I really liked how Jen Bennett knew that there had to be consequences when she did that to her friend, and I really enjoyed that. I thought that Porter and the relationship was really, really fun to read about. I just wanted to see Porter's side of the story, because I thought Porter had a really interesting point of view and a really interesting story, and I just wish we would have gotten more from him. But overall, I really, really liked it, and I would definitely recommend that you read it. It's basically a You Got Mail retelling, and I was really impressed by it. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to add another review to this, so if you see me in another shirt, that is why, but I will come back to end the video. But yeah, those are the books I want to talk about now, and I'll see you guys in a bit. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Hi guys, Laura here. I'm back with one final review that I wanted to add on to the tag end of this video, just because I just finished it, and it is The Big F by Maggie Ann Martin. I got this from BookCon from Students Reads, and I thought it came out like the first of the month, but it actually comes out August 29th, so you have some time, but wanted to add this to the tail end of this, and I also will post a review on my Book Likes blog towards the end of the month. But I did enjoy this. I gave this book 3 stars. Follows this girl named Danielle, whose mother is like a college planner, and she helps kids get ready for college, and Danielle unexpectedly failed her high school English course, her AP English course, and could not go to Ohio State, the school of her dreams. So she was scrambling a little bit and decided to go to a local community college to take the same exact class. And it sends her on a really interesting path to self-discovery and, her dealing with failure and life. I definitely like I definitely like the self-discovery elements and the relationship with her parents a little bit more and the stuff with her best friend. The romance I did enjoy. It wasn't my favorite romance. There was elements of a love triangle that I just didn't think was as well done as I wanted it to be. But I really did like Porter and I like their relationships. So overall, it was a really, really fun read. It's perfect for going back to school because this is literally takes place over a semester of college. It's from August to December. And it's super cute. I really like the character of Danielle, and the review on the back was basically how I feel. What a fun read. I was rooting for Danielle from the first page, and I agree. I thought it was super adorable, and I really enjoyed it. So those are my thoughts on all the contemporary books that I read in the month of July. I'm hopeful that I can do another review like this in August, but I'm reading less contemporary books and more arcs that I got from Comic Book Con. But those are my thoughts. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll chat to you guys later. Bye!